Welcome to Inclusion Matters, a podcast about children's development from the Center for Inclusive Childcare.
Welcome to Inclusion Matters, a podcast from the Center for Inclusive Childcare. I'm Priscilla Weigel, the Executive Director, and I'm happy today to be joined with my guest, Trinette Potts, who I've known for years in the field in various capacities. Trinette's been around for 25 years supporting young learners and families through family childcare. You're a former family childcare provider, a director, a trainer. You've helped educators and providers start their businesses and support that. And now you're at the Family Partnership as the Egg Project Manager. Welcome, Trinette.
Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for having me here on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm excited to hear more about the Egg Toolkit, and I think we'll just jump right in there and explain a little bit about the history and what it is, and then we'll go from there with some other questions.
Okay, thank you. So I'll start with a brief history of the toolkit. It began as an idea 7 years ago with John Everett Till, who is our Chief Strategy Officer at the Family Partnership. He learned about the earliest effect of childhood trauma and how it manifests in disruption in executive function development and self-regulation skills during the ages of 3 to 5. And then he also learned that it takes more than 20 years before you see these effects in the lives of children as they become adults. Mm-hmm. And so he learned that the effects of like the long-term effects of childhood trauma and adverse childhood experiences impact mental, physical, and social health. But the other thing that he realized is that it didn't have to take 20 years before we see these ACEs show up in adults, that you can actually mitigate those when they are preschool age, ages 3 to 5. And ages 3 to 5 is when the preschoolers, when that's the largest growth development for executive function and the easiest, right, in that age group. So what John did was he reached out to Dr. Christine Wing, and the two of them came together to create the Egg Toolkit. And so the Egg Toolkit, it helps buffers against the ACEs, protecting the development of executive function, and it boosts kindergarten readiness. So together the two, they started it. And of course, EGG stands for Inspiring Generational Greatness. And they did this in collaboration with the Harvard University Center for the Developing Child and the University of Minnesota's Center for Early Education and Development, and along with other educators in the field, leading experts in brain science, child development, and curriculum design. So that's just a brief history, and they can tell it better than I can, right?
Well, it's impressive. I mean, I know John, and I know the work that SEED at the University of Minnesota does, and also Harvard, the Center for the Developing Child, combine all that together, and wow, that's some serious work. That's impressive.
Yeah. And so one thing that we like to emphasize about Egg Toolkit is that the foundation of it is rooted in brain science and early childhood development. That's where the strongest foundation. Mm-hmm. And we know that brain science research shows that adverse childhood experiences disrupt the development of executive function and self-regulation skills. So children with higher rates of ACEs may experience worse outcomes in school, right? And then face greater risk of life as an adult that includes heart disease, depression, and substance abuse. And so with EGG, we hope to buffer those impacts of the ACEs with the toolkit. And a lot of work that we do that has been done with developing the EGG toolkit is based around executive function, around mitigating the harmful effects of childhood trauma and ACEs, and the activities that are in the toolkit, which I'll get to in a little bit, but all of it is designed to bring a holistic view of educating the child as well as the educator in executive function, and how to integrate all those different skills that's needed for executive function, and how to build that into your daily routine with children, right?
That's beautiful. Well, and that's something that I think every early educator really needs more information about, because it is so critical, as you noted, during these early childhood years. That's when these skills and tools are really set in the minds of children. Their executive functioning really is going to be that guide or that support that's going to help them be successful throughout life. And so when you think when folks are thinking about, okay, well, I love the name Empowering Generational Greatness because that is exciting to think about. And it probably has something to do with the ACEs and thinking about those childhood traumas that really can affect child's long-term development in a negative way. And so what this toolkit is really trying to do is, as you said, mitigate those things, change the path. And how does it do that?
How does it do? Okay, so we want to talk about like boosting kindergarten readiness, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the way that executive function helps boost kindergarten readiness is by providing children with cognitive skills needed to focus, follow instruction, manage transition, regulate emotions, complete tasks independently, which are very important for the success of for the kindergarten classroom setting. And so
Mm-hmm.
all those skills that I just mentioned, I know teachers would love for their children in their classroom to have these, right? Because
Right.
it's going to make for a better classroom. But when these children go on to kindergarten and they have these skills, and especially children who maybe have had some impactful events in their lives that have
Mm-hmm.
caused trauma or the ACEs, right? This is really going to help them be successful. So it boosts kindergarten readiness. It also helps close the opportunity gap in early childhood by providing children with cognitive skills needed to succeed in school, including the ability to focus, plan, regulate emotions, manage working memory, um, these skills. And also we adults need these as well.
Yes,
But
truly.
but
Right.
working with our young ones um, with this.
Yeah.
And so what research shows is that targeting executive function development through early childhood that interventions can benefit children from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, potentially mitigating achievement gaps associated with socioeconomic disparities. And
Mm.
so that's one of the things when you think about the work that we do and working with children, we want to reach those children and we want to be in those classrooms. We want those teachers educated on how to work with them because we really do want to close that opportunity gap. We really want to close that achievement gap. And so working with children, helping them build those executive function skills, it does that.
Yes. Well, that's beautiful. And I think too, when you think about the early childhood field, and yeah, there are a lot of young children in a lot of childcare settings who are experiencing the ramifications, the outcomes of adverse childhood experiences just based on factors that they had no say
Hmm.
in, or they just happen to be part of this family structure or this long-term family pathway, and
Hmm.
their experience as that young child, they're soaking it up like a sponge. And so
Right.
it sounds like the egg toolkit is something that's going to really equip educators to better understand what some of those
Yes.
challenges are, and then also provide ways for them to build some more experiences. Is that correct?
That is correct. So components of the toolkit, we have components that are like my story, our story. It's like children
Mm.
telling their personal narratives.
Oh,
We also
beautiful.
have exploration activities that the children do. We have more books. We have group time. So there's 2 group times. And then we have mindful moments, right? So teaching mindful activities to the children. And all these help with those things. So the children, they come into the classroom and then they're going to have this wonderful experience with this wonderful curriculum that's going to help them navigate and to learn, right? And to
Yeah.
build so that they are resilient. So the
Yeah.
toolkit is designed to be used in preschools, parenting groups, and home visiting programs. And they
Okay.
offer fun, flexible, evidence-based activities that just take 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, 30 weeks per year. So it's designed to be implemented over a school year. So if you have the summer off, some programs, then
Mm-hmm.
that's good, right? But if you don't have the summer off, you can go back and you can reinforce some of the modules that maybe you thought we could spend some more time on these, right? Before the
Sure.
school year starts again. So each toolkit includes all the necessary materials for implementing the toolkit over a school year, along with ongoing professional development and coaching and support and the professional development that you get. So we do train you on the toolkit, on the
Okay.
egg toolkit. And the training that you get this 4 hours and they're developed approved. So that is
Nice.
wonderful, right? So not only are
Right.
you getting a curriculum, but you're getting some develop approved hours to go with it as you work with egg toolkit.
Yeah. And also parent aware. So can folks also use it toward their parent aware rating, or that's pending as well? Or
That is pending. Yes,
okay.
that is pending. So we're just waiting to hear from them,
All
but we're
right.
excited about it, right?
Sure. That would be
That it,
another plus. Another
it would
plus.
be another plus. Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for that. So through language, storytelling, and mindfulness activities, children develop a greater focus and resilience, which are essential skills for boosting kindergarten readiness, closing
Hmm.
opportunity gap, and mitigating the harmful effects of ACEs. And these skills have lifelong benefits extending into the next generation as children grow up to be parents themselves. So with this toolkit, we like to call it a two-gen approach
Nice.
or two-gen toolkit. But and so for the preschool setting, that's great, right? But
Yes.
also for the parent version of it, that we're using with our ECFE programs, that's really good because our ECFE, they're using it right with the parents. And then
Hmm.
the child educator, they're using it with the children, and then they come together and they use it together with the parent and the child. So, like you're getting a double dose, or the children
Yeah.
are getting a double dose. The parents are learning about it as well, the
Hmm.
skills that are needed for executive function.
That's exciting. Now, is this just available in Minnesota, or is it just available in the metro, or what's the regions that you can access it?
Yeah, it's available statewide,
Oh,
not only
nice.
just Minnesota, but throughout the United States
Oh,
of
really?
America, right? We've
Wow.
already piloted in 5 other states, and so we're piloting it here in Minnesota as well. Yeah, this is our
Okay.
first trip,
And you said for ages three to
3
five
to
was
5.
okay. So because
Mhm.
I was thinking in so if someone is so you I mean it seems pretty simple to build in the routine
Mhm.
into your daily practice. And so when you've worked with sites that are providing care for kids, what are some of the things that people have done? Have they used it at group time? Have they used it like a different part of the morning? When do they plug it in to their day?
Yeah, all of that. So some of them use it like early in the morning when they do group time,
Okay.
because we have what we call the feel wheel, and the feel wheel
Oh,
it's a pictures of different facial emotions,
sure.
expressions, and so they use it in group time, right? And so whether they're singing a song of who's here today, and then the child says they're here, and then they'll ask them how do they feel, and they use the feel, they pass the feel wheel around, they can say how they feel, and if
Okay.
they choose an emotion that doesn't match what the teacher is seeing, then the teacher is prompted to say, well, it seems like maybe you're a little bit upset. Could it be that you're upset this morning? And she can kind of
Hmm.
talk a little bit about what's going on, or they
Okay.
can use it at a different time of the day. But the good thing about it is that this toolkit is built in internal state language or internal state words. And so you're
Okay.
helping children learn their internal state, whether it's a
Sure.
state of perception, right? What we see, what we feel, that
Yeah.
type of that, or whether it's a state of physical state, whether they're tired, they're hungry, they're scared, whether it's emotions, volition, thinking, the mental state, moral judgment. So
Yeah.
you're helping children through these daily activities, but you're also embedding those internal state words, and they're learning these words, right? So that
Sure.
they can express what they're feeling and what they're going through, which we know that when children can express their feelings and their emotions, they're less likely to have these big meltdowns
Yes.
or those big emotions. And we help
Yeah.
calm those emotions down because
Yeah.
they can tell you what's going on with them. A lot
Right.
of times children are frustrated because they can't communicate, right?
Right.
Effectively the way we understand it. So they lash out and they may bite another kid or hit another
Hmm.
kid or storm off from the group, or they don't want to do it, right? And
Yeah.
so these eternal state words that are embedded in this toolkit, in
Yeah.
this curriculum, is wonderful, is awesome.
That's
And we've
fabulous.
we've been hearing a lot of teachers who have used the toolkit say that they are enjoying the classroom environment a lot more because
Lovely.
they're having a lot less meltdowns, right?
Yes.
Those big emotions are happening fewer and
Yeah.
far in between, which is
Yeah.
really great. That is really great. And
Yeah.
so we know right now in the classroom, like one of the pain points is the classroom environment, right?
Yes.
Or
Hmm.
the teacher satisfaction in the classroom with what's going on. And so
Hmm.
this toolkit has helped to not only nurture joy in the classroom and bring satisfaction to the children because they get frustrated, I believe, the most. And then,
Right.
but we have more of them than we do teachers, right?
Yeah, true.
People get, and so then the teachers are saying this, they are really enjoying seeing the effects and children using their words and parents telling them, what they see at home with the children. And so you have happier homes as well with the
Yeah.
children as the children are better able to communicate.
So if a site is choosing to use the toolkit, are there tools that are available as part of it that they can help share the information with families and say, this is what we're doing in the classroom so that families are aware? Or how does that work? Because I know you mentioned ECFE, so that's when the parents are actually actively involved. But sometimes in childcare, whatever happens in childcare, then they go home and they don't even talk about it. Is there a way to bridge that communication between childcare and home with the family understanding?
Yes, so we have flyers. We call them flyers that we have. It's a two-pager. And so we give those to the sites to give to parents as an introduction as to what they're doing in the classroom. We've also had some of our sites host family night, family fun night. And then
Nice.
they, let them know what it is that they're doing in the classroom. I've been able to be a part of, that, and which is really nice. And they introduce egg. But then they're also been able to give this to them, like in their newsletters of what they're doing.
That's
With
great.
egg in the classroom with their children.
Yeah. And so when you train educators on the use of the tool, you're providing them with all of that language that you were just sharing with us about those, the emotional states of the children, all of that.
Mhm.
So they don't, I'm thinking it seems like a full package
Yes.
and easy to implement.
Yes. It is a full package. It is easy to implement. And like I said, it's been in the works for 7 years. And one of the great things about how the fact that it's been in the works for 7 years and they've revised it is that they have taken teachers' feedback because that was the whole point. We need feedback from the teachers. How is this working in the classroom?
Yeah.
How can we improve? How can we make it better? So, although, like I said, we work with Harvard, the
Mm-hmm.
Center for the Developing Child, and we work with the University of Minnesota Seeds, but we also got input from educators and also parents, and they really help shape, parents and teachers, and they really help shape how egg is designed because
Nice.
we don't want it to be cumbersome for the teachers or
True.
just another curriculum that sits on the shelf because I can't figure out how to implement this, and if I can't, it just takes too much time, too much energy, right? We want them to be able to use this and that it's when they look at it, they have joy
Yes.
thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to implement this, use this, and provide this. And so the curriculum itself, right? We have the toolkit, we have egg, but we also have a set of books that come with it. So all the books that you would need for the 30 weeks are provided with the toolkit. It
That's
is provided.
fantastic.
Yes. And the materials. We do have a section in the manual in a toolkit for more books so that if you say children, we know you say you have a class of 4 year olds, we
Mhm.
know not all 4 year olds develop at the same pace and at the same
Right.
rate. And so if you find that one of the books you're using maybe isn't challenging enough, there's other books that you can choose from the list of books for that particular module that will bump up
Oh,
the
nice.
challenge for the children to learn. Or
Yeah.
if you have a book and you're working on a module and you say this is a little more advanced, well then you can choose from the other option of books to bring it down to the children's level, right?
Okay. That's
So then
lovely.
that way you're not stuck with something that the children can't use, whether
Mm-hmm.
they need more or whether they need less.
Yeah. And now by books, do you mean storybooks that you can use during group times to read to the
Yes.
children? Okay, lovely.
Yes. The
Oh, that's
storybooks. Yes.
fantastic. And then
Yes.
the content in the storybook is something that would really spur conversation with the teacher and the child, and all of that flows from there.
Yeah, so we have prompts. It's like it's stickers that you put in the book, and the stickers are in the books on some of the pages because you want the children and the teachers having that conversation about it, right? And each book and each module has a set of internal state words that are used, and
Okay.
so this helps bring that conversation, build that conversation as they read the books to the children during circle time, or if it's just a one-on-one time. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in dramatic play and children have free choice, they want you to read a book to them. And if they pick up the book for the week, that's a great time to do some one on one with them.
Sure. Oh, wow. This all sounds really fabulous, Trinette, and I can tell you're passionate about it because you can hear it in your voice when you're talking about the details. So if there's
Mhm.
educators who are listening right now, what do they do to get a hold of this toolkit? What can they do? How do they get one? What are the steps?
Oh, they can reach out to me. Well, first of all, we have a website, and that website is toolkit.com. They
Okay.
can go there, and they can reach me through there. They can also reach me by email if they wanted to, and that's tpotts. So it's my name, Trinette Potts, but just tpotts at thefamilypartnership.org, or they can reach me by phone, and that's at 612-523-4446. They can reach me. But there's one other, if you don't mind, there's one other thing I'd like to talk about the toolkit
Yes.
before we go, and it's about personal narratives. So we have a section called "My Story, Our Story." Or
Hmm.
our story, my story. And so it's about personal narratives. And those personal narratives help build executive function skills in preschoolers by encouraging them to plan, to sequence thoughts, to regulate their emotions, and to monitor their behavior while recalling and telling a story about their own experiences.
Hmm.
And we enjoy this, right? Because they learn, okay, what happened first? What
Yeah.
happened next? What happened last? And so they're learning to tell the story. They're learning to talk. They're learning to, and so we really encourage that, right? It works on them with sequencing, working
Hmm.
memory, self-awareness, language development, and then their inhibition, like that whole control piece, staying
Yes.
focused, like you're telling
Right.
the story,
Yeah.
throwing out all the irrelevant, learning to throw out all the irrelevant stuff that doesn't matter, but being able to focus and tell a
Hmm.
story. And so they work with them as a group doing that, but then also work with them individually, learning to tell their own story. So in the beginning of the curriculum, they may be two steps, right? Two to
Yeah.
three events. But then toward the end, they may be telling you 5 to 7 events of a story that happened, right? So it builds over the course of the 30 weeks. And then we also have mindfulness activities. And so mindfulness activities, they help build executive function skills by enhancing attention, improving emotional regulation, reducing distraction,
Hmm.
fostering self-awareness, allowing individuals to better manage their thoughts, their feelings, and their behaviors. And so with the mindful activities, we have like muscle the conscious muscle relaxation. We
Hmm.
have one that's called the noodle dance. We have videos that we use. There's this one that the children really love, and I love, and the teachers. But it's called Belly Breathe, and it's a video from Sesame Street.
Cute.
And it's yeah, and the kids they do that, and the teachers do it, and everyone just loves it. But just teaching the children how to help mindfulness and but teaching the children it, but also teaching educators how important mindfulness is in building executive function in children, how important telling those personal narratives, how important that is, right? And being so intentional about what you're doing in the classroom. But it's not any more work than what you're already doing. It's
Right.
simple, and it's all laid out really well.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
So I would love to work with any and everybody on this.
Oh, well, and I think too, as you're telling about all the different pieces of this toolkit, it also builds such a deep connected relationship between the educator and the child because
Yes.
you're listening, you're in tune, you're asking, you're
Mhm.
here, you're just immersed in what they want to tell you and you're helping them put those thoughts together. And what a beautiful, beautiful pathway to that positive relationship of connectedness. And I can see how it could truly empower generational greatness because of the skills that you're laying as a foundation. So this is fabulous, Trinette. We'll include your information and a link on our website once the podcast is posted as well, so people can find it easily. But I thank you so much for being here today. Wonderful to see you and wonderful to hear about this amazing resource for educators.
Yes, and thank you for welcoming me. And if I could just say one last thing before I
Sure.
go, I
Oh,
definitely
sure.
want to. I just wanted to acknowledge that we were giving state appropriated funds
Oh,
to do
nice.
this.
I forgot to ask, how is this all being funded?
Yes, yes, yes. So it's being funded through the Minnesota Pilot Program, And it's through state appropriated fund through our state legislator. Yes.
Nice. That's fabulous. Minnesota does a good job of taking care of children and families and educators, and we're hoping that that will always continue. And I thank you, Trinette Potts, for the part that you've played in it in the past 25 years and what's ahead for you at the Family Partnership.
Thank you so much, Priscilla.
Take care.
Thanks for listening. For more resources, visit us at inclusivechildcare.org.